everyone. Happy Saturday. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another weekend. We're back at it, doing it again. Doing it again. Doing it again. Happy Saturday. All right. Well, we're going to get started with a couple little warm-ups and get into our thing. All right. Let's see what I want to start with. Where do I want to start with? I'll start with, okay. All right. Has anybody ever heard that term, one spoiled apple ruins the bunch? Anybody ever heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. What, where did that come from? Why do people say that? Where did that come from?
You got me.
Okay. All right.
I don't know, but if you got one fruit that's rotten, the rest of them will rot very fast.
Why?
Close contact.
Okay. All right. So, okay. And that is true. And in the case of an apple, when one apple goes bad, it releases a gas called ethylene. And the gas that spoiled apple releases is what affects the fruit, all the other surrounding fruits. That's actually what does it. It's the gas, right? Because if it affects everyone, it's not a touching. It's not, there's no one apple touching all of them generally, if there's that many, right? So it's not even the contact that gets you. It's just the proximity, just being around it, right? And today we're going to be taking things and comparing them to things that we know, kind of like this. Like, so if one apple ruins the bunch, because it doesn't even have to touch you to ruin the bunch, it doesn't have to touch the apple to ruin the other ones. It just releases a gas that ruins them. Well, thoughts are the same way. Friends are the same way. The environment that you live in and the people that you're around on a consistent basis are all affecting each other. And all it takes is, it doesn't take much of something to affect everything else, right? This thing doesn't have to be touching you. It doesn't have to be a relative. It doesn't have to be someone that you're standing right next to. It could just be someone you're talking on the phone to all the time. It could be somebody that you are just talking to all the time, someone you're around all the time. It could be different forms of interaction, but the consistency of it and the proximity emotionally, mentally, not just physically, right? What you're hearing, the contact you're having with this person or these people, if they're not proper, if they're not proper, they can affect you. Same way one apple does, releasing a gas, right? Thoughts are gaseous. Words are gaseous, they spread, right? They do the same things. So being around one person or being around a train of thought, being in an environment, being interacting with things that affect you, and everything that you interact with is designed to affect you. That's what interaction does. It has an effect. It doesn't have to be positive or negative, but it does something. That's the whole point of interaction, right? So what you interact with on a purposeful basis and on a consistent basis is what you are going to be affected by and how you're going to be affected, right? Usually going into a lower income area looking for a good school is not probably a great idea. Or looking for Whole Foods there is probably not a great idea, right? Or so our environments have certain things that are available to us and certain things that aren't. And so it becomes important to be aware of the environment that you're entering, the people that you're around, the things that you are consuming, the interactions you're having, all those different things. That's how and why one apple spoils a whole bunch, one bad apple, because it releases a gas that affects everything around it. And everything that you are interacting with on a consistent, routine, regular basis has an effect on you. It doesn't mean that it's that you have to be victimized by it or a victim to it. I don't mean that. But you have to be aware of your surroundings because your surroundings are offering things to you and have things available to it and in it that you can get something from or that you can't get something from, depending on what it is, right? So that's why one apple can spoil a whole bunch because the gas it releases, right? Bill Wilson. Anybody know? Has anybody ever heard of Bill Wilson? Bill Wilson.
No, and Coach Monique said no also.
No? Okay. So Bill Wilson was the co-founder of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Bill Wilson was the co-founder of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. He believed that LSD could help people stop drinking. So he essentially was going to solve a problem by creating another problem. Just something I thought was kind of funny and found interesting, right? So he said he believed that if you took LSD, that it would basically cure you from being an alcoholic, right? So yeah, I guess you go from staggering to high, okay, right? But you're basically creating another problem, trying to solve another one. Just something off the cuff. I thought was pretty. That was a trip.
That is a trip.
Has anybody ever heard? This is older than this is a pretty old company. This is 20th century. Bless you, it's 20th century company. Anybody remember that company? What was it? Woolworth, FW Woolworth. Old company, FW Woolworth. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It was it was like a 5 cents everything store and everything like that. That company consolidated into one company that we now know today. Does anybody have a guess on what that is? Just three different people guess, and then I'll tell you. But that company consolidated into one company.
Monique said Walmart.
Okay.
I'm thinking, you said it was, I remember the name, but I didn't remember that it was 5 cent stuff.
Okay.
So because you said that, I'm gonna guess dollar store.
Okay.
Sparkle Bailey also said Walmart.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. That store we now know today as what?
I don't know. Is that a real store?
What is that?
Sparkle Bailey Wieners.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I might.
Is that regional?
I never heard he says that regional. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
It's gotta be because it's not out here.
It's definitely regional, but
Okay.
it's not open anymore. It was a thing in Texas for a while. I don't know what other states had wieners, but y'all's lack of knowledge of it is hilarious to me.
What is it?
Foot Locker.
It's a department store. It's a department store.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, yeah, I never heard of that one. But yes, the answer, Foot Locker.
Oh, who said that?
Was that Karen?
Karen, was that you?
Yeah, but Karen looked it up. She had no idea. True transparency.
Yeah, it's Foot Locker.
Oh wow.
Turned into what? And do you know why do you know why it turned into Foot Locker?
Because the focus changed more to sporting goods or something?
Because that was the thing that they were selling the most, were shoes. That was the most profitable part of the Walmart. I'm sorry, of the Woolworth store. Was the thing they were selling the most were shoes. So when they consolidated and everything like that, they just kept the most profitable part of the company, the thing that was doing the best, and just consolidated into that. And so we have what you know now as Foot Locker. That's where Foot Locker came from. Woolworth.
I almost feel like that fact and information has just covered the whole 2 hours.
Man. Okay. Now, this last one is going to kind of dovetail into what we're going to talk about today, this last one. But what is the most consumed alcoholic beverage That is not wine.
Oh, I was gonna say wine.
That is not wine.
Monique said beer.
Beer.
Okay.
Vodka.
Vodka.
Oh. Wow.
Vodka. What is the most popular, powerful, whatever word you want to say it? Vodka. What brand?
Oh. I used to drink Grey Goose back in my day.
Mhm.
Cheap one. Taka.
Yeah.
The nasty one.
Okay. It's the Russian one. Smirnoff.
Stoli. Oh, Smirnoff.
Smirnoff.
So the cheap one.
Smirnoff. by a country mile, as they say. Like it's not even close. Now, the reason I bring this up is because, and the reason most people wouldn't have thought it was vodka right out of the way is because vodka by itself, most people don't drink by itself.
Right.
And the reason it had a hard time taking off in this country was because people were trying to drink it by itself. But the original, the drink before vodka, does anybody know what the drink was before vodka?
Gin.
Gin. It was gin. And so they were trying to, when the Smirnoff family sold the recipe to an American investor here, they tried to popularize it. But gin and tonic and gin with the other things that people were drinking, gin had already cornered the market. So they couldn't get it. So then they said, okay, well, what can we do to make vodka more popular? Well, they decided to start using it as a mixer, meaning to combine things with it.
Yeah.
Right? Not as a standalone drink. And there is a famous, one of the first, probably the second after Marilyn Monroe, but probably the second most famous endorser or person who became an endorser, and it actually set off a whole movie franchise that we still know today. They got somebody to endorse Smirnoff, and it set off not only him, but a whole movie franchise. Anybody know who that is?
My gut feeling wants to say Mission Impossible.
That's actually correct.
Woo, that was a total guess.
Sean Connery. Sean Connery in the first Mission Impossible, in the first one, they basically paid him to advertise Smirnoff. Once that happened and the James Bond movies took off, Smirnoff took off. And it surpassed gin as the #1 like mixer. And now, of course, they have all different type of flavors with it. I don't drink, but all different type of flavors with it and things like that. But originally, still, vodka is just, pure by itself, so to speak, right? It doesn't have flavor or taste with it. So I say that to say that vodka could not become what it is. It did not become what it is on its own. They had to reimagine it, and they had to figure out a different way for it to be used in order for it to appeal to people. So its original use wasn't successful, but it had success in it if it were reworked or reimagined into something else. And the reason I'm using this example, not just historically, but the reason I'm using this is because it reminds me of a lot of conversations I have with people, whether they're athletes or whether they're people I'm training or people I'm teaching or whatever else it is. What I've found and what I'm always kind of amazed by is how people don't actually really know what their own skill sets are. They're actually not really familiar with really what they're good at. I can't tell you how many people I sit on the phone with and they say they want to be this thing, and they actually get on the phone and talk about something completely different. And they're actually good at what they're talking about. And when they talk about the thing that they got on the call for, they're horrible at it. They don't ever have any information, or they don't have any, they don't have any information, or they don't have any experience, or they don't have any inspiration. They're just not good at it. Just in a litany of ways, they're just not good at it. They don't sound good when they're talking about it. It just doesn't register. but they're talking about this thing over here for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can hear the joy in their voice. You can hear the knowledge. You can hear the passion. They sound like this is what they'd be calling you for, but they're actually calling you for something else or talking about something else. And this, when I was doing the research on vodka and things like that, the interesting parts of it, it reminds me of so many of these conversations I have, that the success of vodka did not come as it was originally intended. It came in a different way, but it was because of what it actually still is and was, but it was reimagined. It was just presented a different way. And I'm saying that to say that so many of us have skills that we're not actually paying any attention to. So many of us want to be in charge of a company when usually any good company has a good secretary. Any good CEO has a good secretary. Any good athlete has a good coach, or any good person in something has some form of good support staff. They have something, whether it's a litany of a team of people, whether it's one person, whether it's, my point is that there are so many skills that we have that we're not using because we have our eye on something and don't even realize that we have all these other skills we're using that are actually the things that we can profit from or capitalize on, or that we're performing exceptionally in, that people would actually pay you for, and we pay no attention to them because we take them for granted, because we're not struggling when we do those things, because we don't have to meditate and pray before we do it. We just get on and just rock the mic, right? We just get on the turntables and do what we do. It's so natural and so easy, we don't actually give it any credit. We're not even aware of it. We don't even think about it. And it's literally the thing that you do exceptionally well. You're exceptional at it and you pay no attention to it because you're so exceptional at it. Because a lot of times we are taught that we have to struggle and work hard for all those things, that we don't value the natural gifts we have. They're staring us right in our face. Your natural gift of organization, or of inspiration, or of whatever it may be. There are a lot of gifts that we have that we are ignoring because we want everybody to like vodka just as it is. We want everybody to just take this thing that we want to give them, but yet the thing that we have that's most valuable, we don't even think about offering. We don't think about, I'm making sweaters and I'm not making that much money, but I always get my sweaters to my customers on time. Rain, sleet, or snow. Maybe I should be FedEx. Maybe I should be UPS. Maybe I should have a delivery company. Because it's not that the sweaters aren't selling or that they can't sell, but a lot of times we don't realize how good we are at some of the things that we're doing to actually get the thing that we want to get to someone else. You may be able to hit every back street, drive in the snow in reverse. You may be able to do 1,000 things that you don't deem valuable because they aren't what you're selling, but they're actually the thing that makes what you're selling even possible. People may value. I had somebody who was making a product, and I said, the best thing about your product is your packaging. Your packaging is incredible. Maybe you should have a company making packaging. Like, her packaging was incredible. Her product was solid, but her packaging was incredible. Her packaging is what stood out. She didn't think about that, didn't value that. Oh, that's so easy. Yeah, but if it's that easy, why don't you do it? Why are you doing the hard thing? That's marginal at best, that you don't really even enjoy doing that much, but the packaging, I can tell either you really love it or you're really good at it. Either one works. Right? But didn't value that because that wasn't what she was selling. But it doesn't matter what you're selling, it matters what sells. Right? And she was incredible at packaging. Right? There's so many people that I talk to or that I meet that don't really know what their skill sets are. They know what they want to get off, but they don't realize that all these other things are the only reason you can even do that, because you're good at this or you're good at that, or you're really good at this or you're really good at that. And they don't, because it's natural to them and they don't give it any thought, they also don't give it any credit. Right? And there's a lot of people are like vodka. They have this thing that they want to present, but they don't really realize the strength of themselves, how they can best present themselves, what the best of themselves actually is. You may have a lot of gifts that you're not even paying any attention to, that you're not aware of, that you're just taking for granted because they're so easy. They're so second nature. You can just wake up and roll out of the bed and do this thing or just do that thing. But when you get good at anything, what happens? What happens?
Depends what you do with it.
When you get good at something, what happens?
Becomes natural, it's a habit.
Okay. It gets
Easy.
Easy.
It gets easier. So if you can start off at easy, maybe you're good at it. Isn't that what you're trying to be? Aren't you trying to be good, meaning successful in a business? Aren't you trying to be good, meaning successful in a relationship? Aren't you trying to be good, meaning this or that? Isn't that the whole point? To eventually get good at something or become good at something? Well, what if you can start off good? Just simply by reimagining what you offer, by actually sitting there and looking at yourself and doing an inventory on your skills. So now thinking about, okay, what am I good at? Like, what can I roll out of the bed and do? No meditation, hardly no preparation. I'm just like that in this. I can drive these streets, rain, sleet, snow, hurricane, whatever else it is, to get something from point A to point B. Or I can make this with little to no time, little to no supply, but I can do this. I can take any type of material and turn it into some type of packaging for this. My point is that if the whole point is to be good at something and you're already good at some things, I'm just saying, take a look at it. Do some personal inventory of your skill sets, of what you actually are good at that don't require hardly you to, as you are right now today. If you're a great mother, maybe you can teach some mothering classes. None of us, our parents, came here with a book, knowing how to do that thing. So if you actually have some good skills or good advice, if you have good outcomes with your kids, maybe it's that. Maybe you're a great secretary. Maybe you're a great driver. Maybe you are a great boss. Maybe you're a great cook. Maybe you're a great skateboarder. It doesn't matter what you do. People will pay for it if you're good. They'll pay for you to do it, pay to see you do it. They'll pay for them to get it from you. It's just kind of something to think about. Do some personal inventory on yourself. What are you good at? Go ahead, you have something?
I just want to say that Coach Monique said, wow, I'm in ATL at a conference and this was the exact message. Talk about confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine. The whole point of anything is to become good at it. The whole reason, right, that we study math or we study something is to be knowledgeable so that we can perform that thing. And what I'm saying is that you came here with certain gifts that are a part of you, just like your skin color, your eye color, and everything else that are a part of you. And a lot of times we're overlooking that. We're not aware of it because we go outside to look for everything. And we don't ever stop and look inside of ourselves to see who we are and what we are. And you never know what's in there. Right? And if you would actually take a minute or, just ask yourself a question and then just let it go. You know what? When you get off this call today, just ask yourself a question and just say, you know what am I really good at? And if you want to take it a step further, what am I really good at that I can get paid to do? Like, what am I? And then just don't answer it. Just walk away and just say, you know what? I'll get the answer and just walk away. Don't try to come up with an answer right then. Don't do what you normally do. Don't you be the person who asks and then be quiet. Let your higher mind answer you. You don't answer you. Let your higher mind answer you. What am I really good at? And what am I really good at that people would pay me for? That I'm like Amazon. I wouldn't even have any competition. Right? I would be premier at it. I'd be like the Nike of it. Yeah, there's other brands, but None of them have the market share Nike has, and they won't. Amazon, there's other brands, but other place you can get stuff, but it just is what it is. Like, what am I good at that people would actually pay me for easily? Like, how can I make this thing easy for myself? Start asking yourself some questions and then just being quiet. Just walk away from it. Just drop it. And let your higher mind answer you when it's quiet. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're in the shower, maybe you have a dream, but it will answer you. Ask it a question. Start asking some questions, but start asking some questions to the people or to the person or to the thing that can actually give you an answer. So that's just a little side note today. We're going to get into the other stuff, but that's just a little side note.
Alberta, just say you have no idea how this is helping.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Because no matter what you do, you're doing it. But what if you are not doing you? You know how people say, do you? Do you, boo? Yeah, bro, do you? Right? Everybody got to do you. But actually, how many people are doing them? How many people are actually doing it, though? Right? Just think about that. If you have to do whatever you do, if you have to do it, then why don't you do you? It's easier than doing someone else as you. That's what most of us are doing. We're doing someone else as us. We're being a doctor and hate it every day. And we'd rather be in the kitchen making lemonade. Sunkist made a lot of money off of it. Minute Maid made a lot of money off of it. You can make lemonade and get paid, right? My point is, how many things are we doing that actually reflects us? How many things do you do that actually reflects you? When people look at you, they're like, yeah, she in her thing today, right? Or when you're doing it, they're like, yeah, bro is. They can see the light in your face. They can see the glow in your skin. They can see the passion that's just vibrating from you. They can see your whole focus, your whole world gets black and dark. You forget everything and everyone outside of it for those moments when you're in it. You look up and hours have gone by. You finish the thing on the sewing machine, you look it up and you're like, man, I didn't create the American flag, right? Or I have done this, or I have done that, right? I'm just simply saying that if you have to do everything, then why don't you be the best of you doing it? Why don't you do you? You is enough, but it doesn't seem like enough when it's not yours, when it's not you. You're a good driver. That don't matter if it's not your car, right? You're very nice. You cleaned up the place, but it doesn't matter if it's an Airbnb. You still got to leave. It's not you. It's not yours. You can't keep it. It's hard to manage. You can only rent it. Everything becomes a rental experience, and you don't ever end up owning anything. You don't own your day. You don't own your mind. You don't own your mood. You don't own your energy. You don't own anything. And we wonder why we feel so unfulfilled, even though we're exhausted. At the end of the day, we're worn out from doing all the tasks and all the things we did, but we don't find much value in it. It's not rejuvenating. It's not regenerative. It's not recuperating. It doesn't really give anything back. Because it's not really us doing us. So I just want you to sit down at sometime today, and just sit in some quiet for 5 minutes and just ask yourself that question. What am I good at? What am I good at? And if you want to be good at it just to do it, fine. Or what am I good at that people will pay me for? That's it. You're just like a child asking a parent for something. You're asking them to help you with something. So you don't have to come up with the answer. You just ask the person who knows. Your higher self knows the answer to that question. So just ask it. What am I good at? What am I good at that I maybe not be paying attention to? What am I good at that people will pay me for easy? I don't have to fight anybody. There's no competition. There's nobody like me. What am I good at that I can just get paid for? Because if I do everything and eventually everything I do becomes easy, if I'm naturally good at it, then it's already going to be, it's good. This is going to be easy. This part of it is easy. Now, there may be other parts that aren't easy, but that other part, I can get other people to do. I can cook, but maybe somebody else will package. Or I can drive, but I don't have to make the product I'm driving. The part that's good, the part that's you can do. The other parts, don't worry about it. Your higher self will tell you not only what that is, but will also lead you right into the other people that can do the other parts that you aren't good at. You don't have to be good at everything. You're not everybody. You don't have to be good at everything, just like you don't have to be anyone else. All you have to do is be good at something and be you, and you is enough. So the thing you're good at has to be enough for you. If you're enough, then whatever's in you has to be enough for you. And if you have to make a living, that means you have something in you that allows you to make that living easy. You have to. You have to. But a lot of times we just don't think about it. We don't ask. We let somebody else tell us, oh, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, you should be a this, you should be that. Oh, you know that thing, you should be this. Yeah, maybe that may be true for sometimes. Take a look at all of it. But just ask yourself a question. What am I good at? Like, not what am I successful at, not how much money I've made at it. No, what am I good at? What do I think about all the time that if I could just, what am I good at that people will pay me for? People would love to pay me for. They'd be falling out trying to pay me for it. Ask yourself that question and just drop it and see what comes back for you. Just drop it. See what comes back for you. Like I said, you may be asleep, maybe a dream, maybe driving, you may be in the shower, you may be cooking, maybe gardening, you may be at work. But if you ask yourself and expect the answer, hey, thank you. I know I have what I asked of you. I know I asked you a question. I know you'll answer me in a clear, clean way. I know you'll answer me. And you just drop it and walk away, it will. Your higher mind will do just that. You may be surprised what you find. And I encourage you to look into it and ask for help every step of the way, and you'll get it. And you'll look up and you'll be doing something and don't even know how you're doing it. And out there crushing it. Life doesn't have to be hard. It's not supposed to be hard. Not when you get good at it. Nothing's hard when you get good at it. Everything is hard when you're not good at it. Everything is hard when you're new. Everything is hard when you're first learning. But when you get good, things get easy. When you get good, you can actually start to enjoy it. Your life is no different than anything else. When you get good at it, it gets easier. When you get good at it, you can start to enjoy it. You start to respect it and appreciate it. You start to look forward to it. You start to look forward to waking up. Right? Because you have something that you're looking forward to your whole day because you're good at living. So I want you to just today, sometime today, just ask yourself that question. Spend a couple minutes with it. Ask yourself that question and let it go. Go on about your business, your day, your world, and see what comes back for you. All right. We'll get into it today. We'll get into it today. All right. All right. Who has all right. So I need a volunteer of somebody telling me something that somebody who's willing to tell me something that they want.
I
I'll
volunteer.
go. Something that I want is for my knee to heal, like 100%.
Okay. So if your knee were healed 100%, what would you say? Like what if your knee were healed 100%, like how would you describe that? Like what would you say? What would you say about your knee or about your health? What would you say?
Stuff like, I'm so happy my knee is 100%, and I wouldn't really say anything about it because
Okay.
it's healed.
Okay. Short, simple. I'm so happy my knee is 100%. Okay. So what is your name?
Mackenzie.
Okay. Tell me about your knee.
Like what happened to it, or like
No. Tell me about your knee. What did you just say about your knee?
That is not 100%.
So is your name not Mackenzie?
It is.
Okay. So then tell me about your knee.
My knee is 100%.
Okay. So what is your name?
Mackenzie.
How is your knee? It's 100%.
So
You-
Mackenzie's knee is 100%.
If you are Mackenzie, are you talking in the third person?
No,
So what is your name?
my knee is 100%.
Okay. So what is your name?
Mackenzie,
How is your knee?
100%.
So you have to say 100% the way you say Mackenzie. You have to say 100% as quickly as you say Mackenzie. You have to realize that your knee is 100% just like you or Mackenzie every day. That your knee is 100% in the rain, just like Mackenzie's your name in the rain. That whatever it is that you want, you say it. You say you are that, or you have that, or you're doing that the same way you say your name. That there is no difference between the two. Now, let's just say that sounds weird. Okay, well, how did you know your name is Mackenzie?
Because that's the name I was given.
Okay, and how did you know they were talking to you?
Because they kept repeating it.
And as a result of them giving you something that they kept repeating, what did you do?
Answer to that name
And why did you answer to it?
because they were repeating it.
Right? So their repetition made you do what?
Respond.
Why
She
did you?
accepted it.
You accepted it. What's another word for acceptance?
Receive.
Receive, yeah. But
Acknowledge.
psychologically, say it again.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge, belief. You believed it. You believe, Mackenzie, because they gave you a name that they kept repeating, right? That repetition, what they gave you, they repeated every day. They repeatedly gave you something that after a while, because they repeatedly gave it to you, you started to accept and believe it. Did you have any proof of your name before they said it?
No,
So then, do you have to have any proof of your knee being healthy before you say it?
nope.
So in order for you to believe your name now is the condition that you're saying you want to be. You're saying you want 100% health. Well, just like you realize you're trying to give yourself that. Well, how do you do that? Through repetition. Same thing. You repeat it. When they gave you a name and they repeated it over and over and you believed it, was that religious?
No,
Was it spiritual?
no,
Was it deep?
no,
Did it require like some kind of outfit or some candles?
no.
So why do we incorporate all this in the belief of having something? We complicate the way we get things. We always get things the same way, but we throw in so much other stuff that we essentially limit or condition what we can get. You know what? If I don't have the scented candles, God's not gonna hear me. God don't like the lemongrass one. God don't really like that. God only likes citrus, right? And so, okay, I saw that. So my point is, right, when you give yourself something, right, you're saying your name is 100% health. That's what you're saying your name is now. And so just like you believe that, not the first time you heard it, not because you have proof when they said it, but because they kept saying it. And because they kept saying it, it went from the name originally, and they repeated it, and that repetition turned to acceptance, like he said, and belief. And now, if you're in high school now, I believe, do you have a high school ID?
Yes.
So that means now you have an identity. Your high school ID is your what?
My identification.
Okay. It is the what of your identification. It's the what. There's a word. It's the what of your identification.
Proof. How about
Proof. 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 Whoever said that is right. Proof. Okay. Yes, proof. So that means essentially you are given something that you repeat. You give yourself something when you repeat it to the point that you accept and believe it. And it becomes an identity, it becomes your identity, which means you are able to now produce proof. You are going to see that in your life. This is how you get anything. Now, this process happens faster for some or others, or for certain things or for others, but the process always works the same. 2 + 2 is 4. If you want to count on your fingers, if you want to do whatever you want to do, spin around, think about it, but the process is still the same. You still have to think about it and answer. Some people do it faster. We do it faster than 3-year-olds do it, and 4-year-olds do it generally, right? But we're still doing the same process. The process is the same. So when you say Mackenzie, my name is Mackenzie, I'm 100% healthy. I'm in perfect health. You say this and you say that. You say this, those two things go together. You say the same things together. It shouldn't be my name is Mackenzie. How's your knee? Well, okay, well, now you're either schizophrenic, bipolar, or you just don't know, you don't even know who or you're amnesia. Mackenzie, health. Mackenzie, health. You identify with health like you identify with Mackenzie through repetition. You keep hearing the same thing. Well, someone else told you about your name. You are now telling yourself about your health. You had no proof before your name was Mackenzie. You had no allegiance to that name. Essentially, that was just something that was told to you and you believed it because they kept saying it. Well, you keep saying it until you believe it. But it's not because it's not true already, but you are familiarizing yourself with something that is true. Just like 2 + 2 is 4, whether you know it or not. But they give you the multiplication table so you familiarize yourself with the truth. It doesn't make it true. It's already true. They're just telling you something that is true that you don't know is true yet. But the only reason they know it's true is because they familiarize themselves with it repeatedly. So they're giving you the same thing the way they got it. You're going to familiarize yourself with the truth repeatedly. Doesn't matter whether it's cold, raining, hot. If your name doesn't change, that doesn't change. It doesn't matter if somebody told you your name was Freddie. You wouldn't accept it. Well, somebody could tell you, well, your knee can't heal that quickly. You have to choose whether you accept that or not. If your name is not Freddie, I wouldn't accept that either. My health is as true as my name. Because guess who's healthy? Mackenzie. Guess who's unhealthy? Mackenzie. Your health is attached to your name. I'm not Mackenzie, but my knee, Freddie, is hurting. Right? Your possession is a reflection of you. So you say, my name is, this is so. My name is, this is so. My name is, this is so. Period. And that's it. And that's all I got to say about it. Now, next question.
Karen?
Oh, yes. Hi,
Hi.
I am Karen Henderson, and I want to thank Kenzie for bringing up her desire of a 100% knee. I have a 100% knee, and it has progressed from 0 to 85. My knee is 100%. I believe it and have witnessed the progress. Thank you very much.
Right? So over and over. All right, let's see here. You know what? Now, I don't even care what people think. I'm calling on people myself because everybody got me upset. Let's see here.
Really wanted to volunteer Gavin.
Let me see. I got to catch some people. I got to catch, because, I know I know the willing participants. I got to catch the people in the back of the class. The ones thinking that they're invisible, like some X-Men or something. And even new people. Let's see here. Who do I want to call on today? Johnny, I'll go ahead and let you drink that. I'll come back to you.
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. What do you want?
I want to purchase my first home.
Okay. So your name is,
Johnny.
and
I am a new homeowner.
see how simple that is?
Correct.
Process, same thing. So you gave, your name is Johnny. Johnny is a homeowner. Just like you hear Johnny every day, you hear homeowner every day. And you repeat homeowner every day. You don't change the name. And you repeat it every day. As much as you need to repeat it. To know
Correct.
that that is your name, to know that that is who you are. Every day. And you will get an ID. You will get proof. It may be an address, it may be a mortgage, it may be, but you'll get proof that you are what you say you are. I am Johnny, a homeowner. I am Johnny. Homeowner and Johnny are the same. Your name and whatever your desire is the same. One is not greater than the other, lesser than the other. The two are the same. I am Johnny, I'm a homeowner. I'm Johnny, I'm a homeowner, period. If it's not like I'm Johnny on Tuesday, but I'm not really feeling it. Nobody's called me Johnny in 2 days, so I'm not really sure if I'm Johnny anymore. Well, I'm not really feeling it. I don't really feel good. The economy's going up. The interest rate just went up. Now it's 12%. If the economy doesn't change your name, the economy doesn't change your dream. It doesn't change your desire. It doesn't change your assumption of being or doing or having whatever it is. Period. I am Johnny, I'm a homeowner. I'm Mackenzie, I'm 100% healthy. Period. If nothing changes your name, nothing changes your game. Nothing changes your fame. Nothing changes your desire. Nothing. Period. It's not, if it's not like, well, I'm Johnny, unless somebody else in the room is Johnny, then now I'm not Johnny. Or I'm Johnny, as long as if there's no conditions on your name, when you are, what you are, who you are, then there's no conditions on your desire as far as your ability to be it, do it, have it, and the fact that you are it now. You have your desire just like you are your name, or like you have your name. Johnny is now, homeowners now. Mackenzie is now, knee is now. There is no later, there is no tomorrow, there is no next week, there is no once I get my medicine, there is no when the interest rates come down, there is no. If my name is now, my desire is now. I have it now, I am it now, I'm doing it now, whatever it is. That's all I got to say about that. Now moving on.
We have a few people. We have Alberta.
I was going to go there. I was going to go there. Alberta, welcome. You are now available to get, to be hassled and harassed like everyone else.
I'm okay with that.
Welcome. All
Thank
right.
you.
So whatever you're comfortable with, what do you want?
Capturing moments. I'm a photographer, and like a year ago, I got burnt out and I stopped desiring shooting, but yet now, but that's always the one thing that comes up. I see something and, but yeah, I'm just, yeah.
So you're saying you still feel the passion for it, but you got burnt out. Why do you think that was?
Because I no boundaries. I didn't set boundaries. You know how you're the family photographer, you're the friends photographer, and they want it free. And so because I didn't set boundaries, and because people I know, I work with them on projects, and so it kind of like Yeah, I got, and I stopped, like, I walked away from something last year, and so I've been sitting it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want?
I want that fire that I had um when I used to go out and shoot, because I should travel a lot shooting. I did more photojournalism, and
Mhm.
I had fire for it.
Mhm.
So I want my fire back.
Okay. All right. So then, do you all realize that when you say something that it can imply everything else? Here's what I mean. If you say I want my fire back, what does that mean to you? If you had your fire back, what would be required for you to have your fire back?
No, saying no.
Okay.
You know, I think because I haven't, like, gone out enough, and I haven't actually, honestly, I just think just doing it,
Okay.
just getting out there more, because I haven't taken on any contracts in a year,
Mhm.
and I don't know, just going out shooting.
Mhm. So are you saying you want to do it as a hobby or as a business?
No, I had it as a business, and I still have all my legal credentials
Mhm.
for the business. It's just I haven't been doing it. You know.
So are you saying you'd like to get back into it with your fire back?
Yeah, I would. I'm thinking of a way to, and one of the reasons, because the money, and I think that was the main deterrent, was, like, bringing in the money from that.
Mhm. Okay. So when you say, so my point is that what could you say to yourself? What do you want? Meaning, what could you say to yourself that reflected you were the photographer you wanted and it was going the way you
Mhm.
wanted? How would you describe that? If you were the photographer you wanted and you got to do what you wanted, no, you could say yes and no comfortably and
Mhm.
freely. You were making
Right.
$2 million a year. If
Yeah.
someone walked up to you and said, "What do you do?" And, "Oh, wow, you're a photographer. Wow, how's that going?" And it was going the way you wanted, what would you say?
Um. mm, I'm blank.
Mhm.
That's the problem.
Mhm. So it's not that words are not your salvation. They're just an expression,
Right.
right? So you don't have to have
Mhm.
the right words. Your
Right.
words are just something that you use that either
Mhm.
describes or implies
Yeah.
something, right? So if
Mhm.
you said something to the effect of like, you know, um, I am, I'm an on fire successful photographer,
Yeah.
right? I'm an on like how oh, what do you do? Oh man, I'm a photographer and I'm an on fire successful
Mhm.
photographer. Or like I'm just a photographer. I love what I do, right? Or whatever else it is. If you were
I
to
used to
love what you
think.
do, then you couldn't be getting worn out. If you to love what you
Mm,
do,
mm,
people will respect your boundaries. What I
Right.
mean by that is you can use
Yeah.
words that
Yeah.
imply all the
Yeah.
other things
Right.
being so. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's not that your words, you don't have to make this like turn this into minutia or into semantics or into
Mhm.
every little bit of detail, but you're essentially saying, how would I describe what I was doing if I was doing it the way I wanted it? Like if I was doing it like I was doing it for TV, right? Like I
Yeah.
was just out here, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe that to yourself? How would that feel to you? And I don't mean an emotion, but like your
Oh,
awareness. Like how would you be thinking of this thing?
I used to always say I enjoy capturing unforgettable moments.
Okay.
I used to say
All
that
right.
all the time,
Okay.
and I used to do television production. So, um, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, I love capturing moments. I love being able to look at a photo and remember those memories that I captured.
Hmm. Okay. So it's not like I said, it's not just the words, but what do you want this experience to be for you? What do you want?
I want to enjoy capturing moments.
Okay. So In order for you to enjoy capturing moments, could you be broke?
I don't want to be.
Could you be?
You could.
Probably. I don't think so.
Mm.
How?
Well,
You quit the first time.
right.
So the answer is no, right?
Yeah.
So this is the point. The point is not to settle. The point is not to negotiate. What do you want?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Who are you settling with? Like if you
Mhm.
I'll put it in air quotes. If
Mhm.
you ask God for something,
Mhm.
what is too much? Like what are you negotiating for? What are you negotiating down for?
Mhm.
Like if it's less, like I'll give it to you faster if you ask for less. Is it like a discount? Is this like a coupon, like a Groupon?
Mhm.
Is this why negotiate down with the person who
Right.
has everything that wants you to have it, which is essentially you,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
You're
Yeah.
not getting nothing. Going to the ocean with a teaspoon does not make you a
Mhm.
humanitarian
Yeah.
any more than somebody going with a bucket. The ocean don't care whether you got a teaspoon or a bucket. You can't take it all. You can't take it all, right? So
Mm.
the God in you, you can't take it all.
Right.
So you can't ask for
Mm.
enough. You can't
Mm.
over ask. You're not
Right.
overreaching. You're not being greedy. You're not. What do you want?
Mhm. Yeah.
What do you want? So what do you want?
I want to make money
Okay, doing what?
shooting photography, and
Okay,
and I want to go back into film production, you know?
okay, okay. So you could say, I'm doing what I love to do every day
Mm.
successfully in every way,
That's
right?
good.
You could say, I'm doing what I love to do every day successfully in every way. It's not the words, it's just what the words
Mhm.
mean. Does that make
Okay.
sense? What they
Mm.
personify, what they're trying
Mhm.
to get you to become
Mhm.
aware of. It's
Yes.
all about turning your awareness. So when somebody asks you for directions, it's
Mhm.
because they're unaware. Their awareness is not sufficient to get them to their desired end, right?
Right.
So when you give them directions, the directions you're giving them is allowing their awareness to be expanded so that they can reach it.
Right.
So when I say what do you want and how would you describe it? It's just using words that aren't your salvation, but they're just an
Mhm.
expression of it. They're just the
Okay.
directions to get you to your end. So when you say something like, "I love what I'm doing every day, in every way, and I'm successful," right? Well, then successful means you love it. Successful means you're
Mhm.
making money. Successful means you have appropriate and respectful boundaries. Doing successful means you're capturing those moments. So what do those words mean to you? Are the words you're going to use. Yes.
Yeah.
Cassidy's asking via Sparkle Bailey, I succeed every day. What was it? To repeat what you said.
Man, I don't know. I just be in the thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in my zone
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. Right. Right. But my point to you is,
Yeah.
right, your name is Alberta and this. My name is
Yeah.
Alberta. I love what I do every day and I'm successful. Just something simple, right? I love what I do. I love what I do every day and I'm successful in every way. I succeed every day
Okay.
doing what I love to do in every way. Whatever, however you want to say it, but your name and that go together. Just like that is your new last name,
Okay.
right? Alberta, this. Alberta, I'm
Mhm.
this. Alberta, it goes like this. Alberta, I'm doing this. Alberta, my life is like this. Alberta, this. Alberta, this. They are the same. And you keep them on the same level. There's no doubting in
Mhm.
them. There's no questioning them. The rain doesn't change it. The wind doesn't change it. The economy doesn't change it. This is you and this is that. And those are together. Those are one.
Great.
And just like you learn to memorize your name and
Mhm.
you have an identity, right? You have proof that that's your name. When you memorize that, and I don't mean like literally memorize it, but when you
Mhm.
memorize it, when you become one with that thing, because you've repeated it over and over to yourself, you become one with that thing, you're going to get proof. You're going to see the physical reflection of that in your life, proving that you are what you said. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So you find what works for you that reflects what it is, the outcome. You don't have to get into all the minutia and people don't
Mm.
ask me for anything. It's no, if I'm doing this and it's going this way, that means people aren't asking me. That's already implied in the statement.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. My pleasure. All right. So that's important for us to understand. It's not the words. It's not the words. It's just what the words mean to you. Find words that mean something to you, that imply that you are what you want, or that you have what you want, or that things are going the way you want. And you attach that to your name. You make that your new last name. That's everybody's homework this week. You, whatever your desire is your new last name. You introduce yourself like you would first and last. I am this and that. And I don't mean necessarily to other people. I mean to yourself. I am this and that. I am this and that. There's no limitations, there's no conditions. If your name doesn't change, if there's no limitations on your name, there's no limitations on your identity, don't put limitations on your desire, because your desire is an extension of your identity. Anything you want to say?
No, I have put in the chat Veronica Yachts, but George continue with George Abundance.
That's it. It's the same thing. You learn to become familiar with something by naming it and then repeating it. It's not religious. It's not deep. You're not trying to make anything happen. It's not spiritual. It's just the way the human mind becomes acquainted with the God mind. God knows everything. Humanity learns. Humanity learns what God knows through repetition. God knows everything. Humanity learns. Humanity learns what God knows through repetition. So God has already made the thing. You're not making it. You're just familiarizing yourself with something that already exists. You couldn't describe your desire. You couldn't want your desire. You wouldn't be aware of your desire if it didn't already exist. But it exists in your God mind. And now you are using your human mind to familiarize yourself with that God mind through repetition. That's how you come to know or come to learn what God knows. That's all the repetition is for. So you don't have to go crazy over it. Do it as much as it turns you on, as much as it makes you happy, as much as it excites you talking about it, thinking about it. Romance yourself. Talk to yourself. Whisper sweet nothings in your ear, right? Of the good that is for you, of your success, of whatever the outcome of your desire is. Not I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a no. I am. The fulfillment of your desire, not the desire itself, the fulfillment. I am a homeowner. I am 100% healthy. I am an incredibly successful photographer. Everybody loves me and can't get enough of my pictures. I'm out here doing it. Everybody's on camera, right? So to speak, whatever it is, that's what the words mean to. So you pick the words that mean something to you. I am George Abundance. That's my last name. That's what I say to myself. George Abundance. That's me. Abundance is just as natural as George. Hell, I have to learn both of them. I didn't know George before they told me 100 times. Now I just was like, oh, you guys keep calling me this thing. Let me turn around. Oh, that's me. Okay. It's the same thing. Abundance. I keep saying it. That's me. Okay. And abundance will feel as natural to you as George. Your need being 100% healthy will feel as natural to you as Mackenzie. You being the most wanted photographer in the world will feel as natural to you as Alberta. Whatever it is, it will feel as natural to you if you do the same thing. Just repeat it. That's how everything felt natural to you. Humanity comes to know things through repetition. God just thinks and assumes. That's your higher mind. Your human mind, your carnal mind, learns things through repetition. So you're not trying to talk yourself into it. You're not trying to manifest anything like that. It's not that deep. It's just becoming. You learn to be whatever it is you want or have or do. And you learn to be through repetition. I was having this conversation, it's going to dovetail right into the next thing. I was having this conversation with my brother this week. And I said, one of my brothers, I have 4 other brothers. And I was saying to one of them, I said, so I want all of you guys to think about this. Now, I want you to think about it legally, not personally. I want you to think about this legally. If you worked at a school and it was your first day of work, you worked at a school, it was your first day of work, and then you have somebody who's been there for 10 years. And they've been there for 10 years. What is the legal difference between the two? If both of these walked on campus on Monday, the first person, their new day, They walk on campus. On Friday, and on Monday, the 10-year vet walked in. Both days, they both walked in on a Monday. What is the difference between those two people?
One can get fired.
Okay.
Yeah, one with tenure can't.
Yes. So let's say, so now that is true. Here's why I say it's not true. It is true, but here's why I say it's not. Because every company doesn't operate the same. Some people will have you temporary for 60 days, 90 days, a year, right? Somebody will let you're automatically own it once you in it or whatever else it is. So those are rules, not laws, because everybody's not operating on the same ones, right? So I'm saying legally, the person who walks in on the first day and the person who walks into campus at 10 years, what is the difference between them legally?
Seniority.
Okay, but that's not legal in the sense of it doesn't determine whether someone has a right to be there or not.
There isn't. If they're both hired.
Okay.
In.
Okay. Anybody else?
Monique also said there's no difference.
Okay. Anyone else?
One has more leeway than the other.
Okay. Well, okay. One has more leeway. Why?
They've had more time to prove themselves and they've earned it.
So what's the key word in there?
Time. Proof.
Time.
Time. Okay.
Time. Right? But time isn't legal. Time produces what?
Faith.
On campus. On campus. Huh?
Faith or belief.
Faith or belief. And when you're somewhere for that long with time, what does it produce? What does it produce with other people in your environment?
Credibility.
Credibility, right? Faith, trust, familiarity. But none of those things are legal.
Right.
We have Monique and Ronette put experience.
Okay, experience, but that's not legal. Because if it were, this person wouldn't have a right to be on campus. Right? This is you can't it's not illegal to not have experience or to not be familiar with something. So what I'm saying to you is the only difference between these two people are time. And time breeds all the things that we value: comfort, familiarity, power, and all the other things. But those are not legal things. What's legal is I have what it takes to step on campus. The same way the person who has 10 years in can step on the campus. Does that make sense so far? It means on the first day, I have the same right to be here as the person who's been here 10 years, legally. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So then, when it means that you have all the same rights. You have the right to be there, just like this person. So what I'm saying to you is the law of mind doesn't differentiate between the person's first day or 10 years. The law doesn't. Humanity, the human mind does. The human mind says, well, it's my first day, I don't know. Or it's my 10 years, so I have a tenure, or I have a this. But what I'm saying is that the only difference between the two is time, and time breeds all the things we value. And what I'm saying is that on your first day, the only difference is the time. So the longer you're there, the more of it you experience all the other things, the comfort, the familiarity, and everything else. When you say, I am something, it's like your first day. You have a right to be there. You are that thing. You're just not as comfortable with it as the person who's been there for 10 years. But you still are that thing. You still are an employee just like that person. Because they can't throw you off the campus legally, because you legally have a right to be there, even if people don't know you, even if people haven't seen you before. You still have the authority to be there because you are an employee. That has nothing to do with anything else. What it has to do with is that people may not know you. You may not know where the bathrooms are, or the cafeteria. There may be a lot of things about this thing you don't know, but it doesn't mean you're not an employee. You're just an employee that's unfamiliar with a lot of the things that are going on here. You may be a person that's unfamiliar with a healthy need. You may be a person that's unfamiliar with having a successful photography business. You may be a person that's unfamiliar with the state, but you are actually in the state. You actually are what you want to be as soon as you assume you are. It's just your first day. So it feels weird. It feels abnormal. You don't know how it feels to be this. You don't see the world like that all the way you would 10 years in. But you still are an employee. You still have the right to be here. You still actually are an employee of the school. You have the same badge as the person 10 years been here. You are an employee of the school. It just feels unfamiliar. It feels different. It feels new. It may feel weird, but you actually are still in the state of employee. You are legally an employee. And in the laws of mind, it's the law, not the rules. Rules change. So yeah, you may get fired, but there's some people who are permanent the first day you start. Some days it's 30. Some companies it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Some places don't have that rule at all. So they're not laws, they're rules. Humanity makes rules. How do we know? Alcohol was legal. Then they had prohibition. Now it's illegal. Now it's legal again. Marijuana was illegal. Now it's legal. Every January 1st, there's a whole bunch of new laws, right? But they're nothing really but rules. They're rules. They change all the time. They change every year. They're just rules, right? That you have to obey for a prescribed amount of time. They're not actual laws. In a lot of ways, they're change all the time, right? But during that prescribed amount of time, they're considered a law. But my point to you is that the law of mind has a judge. That judge you call God. That judge is called I am. That judge is your awareness. What are you aware of being? Okay, you're aware of being new on your first day, but you're still a new what? You're still an employee. It doesn't matter whether you're new or old. It feels different whether you're new or old. It feels different to say your knee is healthy and it hasn't been. It feels different to have a different type of photography business now than you've had in the past. It feels different to be a homeowner when you hadn't been one. It feels different, but it's not in the sense of you still are what you say you are. You are still legally an employee. You are still legally in the law of mind, whatever you are assuming yourself to be. And the longer you stay in that state of acceptance, belief, the closer you get to proof, the closer you get to 10 years or tenure, the closer you get to what people call permanent. What humanity calls probation, psychologically, is just unfamiliarity. You just haven't been here in your mind long enough. So that's why you have to stay there. That's why you can't come out the next day and be like, oh, well, I knew this photography thing wasn't going to work. People don't take pictures. Oh, man, people don't respect my time. I knew as soon as I got back in this, I knew this wasn't going to work. I'm right back to where I started. Okay, now you went from your first day. Now you just walked off the job. The only reason this person has 10 years is because they kept coming. They just returned it. They're not smarter than you. They're not better than you. They just kept coming to the same job every day. So they got 10 years. So like Kari said, now they can't be fired. They have tenure. But how do you get tenure? Through repeatedly showing up. How do you get tenure? How do you become the person you want to be? You first have to be it. You have to keep showing up every day as the homeowner, as the person with a healthy need, as the successful photography business, as the this or the abundance or whatever it is. You have to keep showing up to your job. You have to keep showing up to your identity. You have to keep showing up as the employee of that state, of that company, of that school. You have to keep showing up as the person who has that every day. And as you go through that, you will start to become more familiar with the state. You'll know where the bathrooms are at the school. You'll know where the this are. You'll know where the that is or the this. You'll start to become more familiar with abundance. You'll start to see proof of it. You'll make more money. You'll get more discounts. You'll get more upgrades. You'll get more hookups. You'll get more free things. You'll get the things that abundance means to you. It's just a state of mind that you consistently show up to, just like that new person kept showing up to that job. It's weird the first day. You don't know anybody. Nobody knows you, but you have the right to be there. That's all you wanted to get, is the right to be there. Because once you have the right to be there, guess what? You start to experience all the rights of being there. You get a paycheck, you get benefits, or you get a badge, or you get clients for your photography business, or you get the outcome of abundance, or you're out there on a softball field out there killing it like Otani, right? Or you're out there doing whatever, or the baseball field. You're doing what the person who has that uniform on, who's on that team, who's in that company, who has that business, you start to see more of the benefits of being that. But you have to show up every day. You can't come on the first day and then quit. You're not going to have any benefits. Can't quit. We understand that physically, but we have to understand the same thing psychologically. You have to, what they call it, persisting. It means stay in that state of mind. It's unfamiliar, just like the first day of work, first day of school, but it's the same principal thing. The behavior is the same. You show up every day and you go from temp to permanent. You show up every day and you go from first day to 10 years or to tenure. It's just a matter of showing up to the same place every day. So you show up as a homeowner every day. You wake up every day as a homeowner until you become tenured, until you have proof, until you have your ID badge on, till you're sitting in your house. You're like, damn, I made it. Right? Until I'm a successful photographer, until you see that come in your world, you show up every day. You don't let the wind change it, the economy change it, people's behavior change it. You don't leave that state of mind. You don't leave. You're new. It may be a new thought, but you're still an employee. It may be a new business you created in your mind, but it's still the business you created in your mind. You just have to get more familiar with the business you've created in your mind as a successful photographer. You just have to get more familiar with the thing you've created in your mind, just like you get more familiar with the company that you join. And you get more familiar by consistently showing up. You get more familiar in your mind by repeating it, by consistently imagining yourself that, seeing yourself as that. That's all it is. It's the same thing. Just one is visible, one is invisible. But the invisible always produces the invisible always produces the visible. God always produces humanity. Thought always produces product or action or outcome. The non-physical always produces the physical. Everything you see is produced, maintained, sustained, created by things you don't see. And everything you see is always second. It's always the effect. It's always after. It's the echo. It's not the creator. It's not the progenitor. It's not the originator. All right. Do you guys, is that understood? Do you guys understand that?
Coach Lucky, that when you said the last thing you said, it just reminded me of like why you shouldn't take things personally. When people attack you or when people misunderstand you, it's coming from a place that's unseen. Whatever it is that this person is thinking or experiencing is coming from a place that's unseen. And so there's no reason to really take anything personal. People are healing, people are growing, people are hurting, people are going through all kind of stuff. And so for me personally, my takeaway from this part of the conversation or this part of the lesson is, what is the purpose in taking anything to heart? If, people are having their own experiences and it's just so much unseen and unknown information amongst all of us, why take anything personal at all? The surface of what we're given kind of hurts us, but we tell ourselves it hurts us because we process it as an attack or something personal, or you meant that. But in reality, a lot of times people's attacks are not warranted. They're just reactions. And if we take people's reactions because they're surface, we take it to heart, we're absorbing things. Like, this is just really deep. I don't know if I sound like I'm making sense to anybody, but I'm making sense to me. That's all that matters.
Well, first of all, that is true. It's all that matters, first of all. But second of all, you're correct. We take things literally and then we choose when we do it. For example, if when somebody gets into a car accident and two people run into each other and they're both getting out of the car talking about you hit me. Like, you wouldn't see either person's fingerprints on the other person. Two cars hit each other. I didn't hit you, but you are taking my car as an extension of me. Well, a person's body is an extension of them. It's not them. It's an extension of them. So what is coming outside is coming from what's inside. And what's coming from inside is coming from where it is, meaning the state of mind that they're occupying. That person's in a state of mind. And so they are using that state of mind and they're using their body to express it physically. What we get, that's what we get. We with the two cars are the bodies, and the two people are the people in the bodies, just like the two people inside the cars. Right? So we wouldn't take that literally to say, oh, somebody hit me. No, the two cars hit each other and the person driving is an extension. Well, it's the same thing. The body, what people are doing is an extension of them. It's not necessarily an extension of you. So there's no reason to take it literal or to take it personal. You can say, okay, that's what you're on. I'm gonna move out of here because I don't want to get hit by this car. I don't want to get hit by what you're doing, but I don't got to take that personal. That's the way you drive it. That's the way you move. So if I wake up in a good mood and then somebody starts talking crazy, why am I going to change my mood just because you're crazy? Then that means I have no control over my day. I have no control over anything. Then how am I grown? If I just let somebody else just take me out of my frame because they're out of theirs. Right? So you're absolutely correct. We just pick and choose when we take things literally. But to your point, when we actually start thinking at a higher level, you start to be able to apply the principle and be like, well, this is all the same. Really? It's really kind of all the same. In that sense, the person barking is like the person driving in and out of the street. You just get out of their way because you realize that person's not really in their right mind right now. They're drinking and driving, or texting and driving, or they're doing something and driving. But whatever they're doing is not allowing them to think properly. So then their behavior is not going to be better than their thinking. Right? So when people are out of pocket physically, they're out of pocket mentally. And the mental is always before the physical. So that's absolutely correct. Absolutely. All right, anybody else before I get moving? All right. If I say I make, do I want to do this one or do I want to do another one? Okay, I'll do it this way. I'll just do it. Okay. If I say, okay. Let me see. How do I want to do this? Okay. Okay. All right. If I say I make $1,000 a week. If I just start saying to myself, I make $1,000 a week. What is that?
Declaration.
Okay. It's a declaration. What is that? What is that declaration? The $1,000 that I declare, what is that based on? I make $1,000 a week.
Your belief.
My belief. Okay. And when I say I make $1,000 a week, what is that belief? What is that belief based on?
Your state of mind. Your state of mind.
Okay. Your state of mind. Okay.
Who you believe you are.
Okay. I'm sorry. Who says something?
I think George.
Oh, I was saying the value that you bring to the world.
Okay. Who determines that?
You do.
I mean, when it comes to the money that you get,
George, go ahead. Say it again.
I was saying when it comes to the money that you get, I mean, you only get paid off the value that you bring or the problem that you solve.
Who determines the value? Who determines your value?
You and your customers.
No, there's only one God.
Well, then you.
You. I mean, how could your customers get more value from you that you didn't, than you created? And who created your value?
You can set your value. What they accept it as might be something a little different, but you said it first.
No, 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 no. When God created water, do we get to accept it as Coca-Cola?
That's
We
different.
don't get to change what we get, right? Not like, so we have to understand, we have to always separate humanity from God, meaning our human mind from our higher mind. They do things differently and see things differently. But that is why humanity is always in chaos and confusion, because we have rules, we have loopholes, we have hookups, we have conditions, we have limitations. So even though we're saying the same thing, 10 different people will think about it the same way. Even though we say it the same thing, we will change the way we think about it 10 different times. But the law only thinks about it one way. There is only one God. There's only one thing determining your value. That is you. Now, when you express that value to the world, that doesn't mean everybody sees it as that, but there's a lot of blind people who don't see a lot of things, but that doesn't mean it's not true. But eventually they will come to that truth. Some people see the truth faster than others in every area of life. But when you are valuable because you are valuable, right? Because your value is intrinsically created and externally expressed, right? So when you make yourself so valuable, what happens is when you do anything in mind, there comes a physical reflection of it, right? When you're a painter, you need a canvas. Your canvas is your physical reflection. When you're a writer, your paper is a physical reflection, right? Now, but it's a physical reflection of you. The reader can see it any way they want. However, you're always going to find the physical reflection of yourself. That's the way the law works.
I just thought of something there. If your customer doesn't see or accept your value for what it is, then you're actually not your customer at the end of the day. Right. So if I don't see your value and I don't want to pay it, I immediately am not your customer anymore. So what you're saying is right. You are the one that sets the value, nobody else.
Yes. If you walk, if there's people all the time who walk past Rolls Royce dealerships, and there's people who walk in all the time. It's the same car. Some people see your value and just can't afford it. They can't afford it.
Will you describe the mirror effect?
Essentially, what I'm saying to you is, like I've been saying to you all for months now, what you say to yourself, people will eventually say to you. What you think about yourself, people will eventually think about you. It may take a minute, it may take an hour, it may take a second, depending on what it is, but it is the mirror effect. The physical people in your world are the physical expression of your consciousness. That is what you're drawing or repelling. It's because it's a mirror. The mirror doesn't change until you change. That's why your world can't change until you do. And you can't change until you change your mind. Because your mind is what makes up you, makes up the physical expression. So what you call your outcomes are a result of your actions. Your actions are a result of your thinking, and your thinking is a result of the thinker. You. So you and your physical world, even though there's a bunch of stuff in between it, are one. Right? So there are a bunch of people, to your point, who would love a Rolls Royce, but they can't afford it. But that doesn't mean there aren't a bunch of people who can. How many Floyd Mayweather have? How many does Diddy have? How many does all Kobe have? How many does LeBron have? How many people can afford all kinds of things that other people can't? Right? So just like everybody's, I heard Rev Ike say this. He said, there is a car for every level of consciousness. It's true. There is a physical representation for every level of consciousness. The hood is a state of mind, just like poverty. The ghetto is a state of mind, just like poverty. Why do you think the ghetto remains the ghetto year after year, decade after decade? The same people who were in it when it started are not the same people in it when today, but they're not the same physical body, but it's the same physical mind. The mind is working the same. It doesn't have, the body can change. The body doesn't matter. The same people in 1920 in New York don't live there now, most of them. Most of them are not here anymore, right? But it's still New York. It's new bodies, but it's still New York. The state remains the same. The people that come in and out of the state change. But that's why the state remains the same as long as the mind stays the same. And the mind, the state of mind does not need one particular body. Anybody can operate the same state of mind. So that's why certain neighborhoods remain the same. Certain neighborhoods remain the same. Certain schools remain the same. Certain schools remain the same. Certain teams remain the same. You look at anything, it's the same people generally winning over and over and over, or losing over and over and over.
Latoya said anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it because the law is no respecter of persons. The law doesn't care if you started off poor because your family was poor. You don't have to stay poor. The law doesn't care if you started off rich. If you mess yourself up, you will end up sleeping with the pigs, just like the prodigal son. You can walk yourself right out of the palace into the pig pen. Your mind can take you from ashy to classy. You can go up or down. It's always possible for you. Everyone has a right to do what they want to do, including you. So your family can start off poor. You don't have to stay that way. Your family can start off rich. You don't have to stay that way either. Your life is a reflection of your choices. But the problem is we don't analyze our choices. If we go into a grocery store, right? Kari, you go into a grocery store and you pick up an apple. What do you do? And you look at an apple. What do you do?
Squeeze it.
Okay. Why do you do that?
I want to see if it's firm enough or right. Test it.
Okay. So you're seeing, right? Would you say you're testing? Anything else you do with it?
Put it in my basket if I want it.
Okay. Do you? All right.
He's feeling it.
Say it again.
He's feeling it.
Feeling it. He's seeing it. He's testing it. He's all right. He's feeling it. All right, cool. That's good enough. How many people do that with the thoughts in their mind?
We don't analyze enough at all.
Oh no, we just take anything. We take if these were thoughts in our mind, we walk into the grocery store, pick the apple up and bite it. We don't look at it. We don't see if there's any brown spots. We don't see if there's a worm on the other side. We don't look at it. We just ingest it. We just take it. You don't even put it in a little plastic bag. How many people do that with their thoughts? How many people see it? How many people see if I take this thought and I play this out? How many people test that? How many people actually test it to the point where they feel like, maybe this is not going to be right? How many people do that? We don't.
No.
We don't. With the thoughts that we have, we are not paying attention to the thoughts we have like we pay attention to the food we buy. And that food will be out of your body in 2 or 3 days. And that thought could be in your life for 2 or 3 years or the rest of your life if you don't get rid of it.
Man.
And most people, and we have taken so many bad thoughts that are subconscious. It means we have hoarded the thoughts. We put them so far back in our mind, in the recesses of our mind, we've almost forgot about them, but then we can't identify why we act the way we do. Because just because you forgot about it don't mean it's not there. It just means you forgot about it, but it's still a part of you. Because we take thoughts, we don't look at them, we don't test them, we don't feel them, we don't give any thought to, is this actually worthy of digestion, worthy of being a part of my experience moving forward? We don't do that. Oh, well, so-and-so said it. Oh, they said it. Oh, well, that's what I've been, oh, this is always what it is. And this is all, what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, well, I always do this. I always do that. Well, what does that mean today? Has anybody always bought something at the grocery store and one day they showed up and it was sold out? Has that ever happened to anybody? Can anybody say, well, put it on the shelf, make it happen right away because I always have it? No, it's day by day. You have to decide day by day what you want to be, day by day who you are, day by day. And you can't do that if you don't analyze what you're thinking. If you don't actually sit there and take that thought and say, wait a minute, let me think about this for a second. Now, if I keep thinking this, where could this go? And you start after a while, you realize, man, that thought is nothing but a horror show waiting to happen. It's nothing but this is not going to end well. But most of us are children in our mind. Why'd you do that? I don't know. Why are you thinking that? I don't know. They don't have a real answer. Oh, we're adults, so we've learned to dress up, I don't know, boy, like it's a runway model. We've learned to dress up, I don't know, but you still don't know. You literally acted on something. You literally had a thought and acted on it before you thought and didn't think about what's going to happen. And then, I don't know, but we go into, oh, well, because, this or that or whatever. No, it's the same thing. Analyze your thoughts like you analyze that food at the grocery store. Like you look at the ingredients, or like you look at the calories, or like you look at, make sure it's not bruised, or it's not soft, or it's not rotten, or whatever else it is. Anybody go grocery shopping with their eyes closed? Like, well, then why are we just thinking without with our eyes closed? Why are we just allowing things just to be posted in our mind without any oversight or any inspection?
Yeah. You just slapped a couple of us with one, just all at once.
It's just right. I mean, look at it. When you go to the grocery store, especially when you see people doing the fruit and everything, oh boy, they've been looking at that fruit like they're scientists. I mean, you see people looking at it, putting it up in the light, turning around. So you see people smelling it. You see people looking at prices. You see people looking at, is it organic? You see people do all kind of things. They become scientists and engineers, and boy, they become the most detail-oriented people you ever see. And then they say something, you say, well, why'd you think that? Boy, and it turns into it just goes the opposite way.
It's like we inspect what goes in, but we don't inspect what comes out.
Correct. Right. And so a lot of it is just, we have to understand that our thought life is the food of our brain. And it is the fruit of our life. It's going to come out. That second pack of muffins is coming for your head, your back, or your butt. It's coming. It is coming, man. That 2-pack, right? Like they say on the streets, that 2-piece, right? Like you don't get both of these hands. Yeah, that second hand is coming. And you can't just eat anything. You can't just throw things in your cart. You don't do that at the store. And that's for something that's going to come out of your body in 2 or 3 days.
Latoya said, pick your thoughts like you pick your fruits in my Badu voice.
Yeah. I tell my daughter that all the time.
Yeah, he does. Literally that.
Yeah. Pick your thoughts like you pick your food. Your thoughts will make you as sick as any food you can eat. You want to talk about brain poisoning? Just like food. Anybody got real sick of some food one day and you're like, oh, I'm hurt. This is not good, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, we don't realize our life is suffering just as much as that body in that moment because of the thoughts that we've ingested, the thoughts we're entertaining, the thoughts that we're keeping alive constantly with no inspection. We're just eating everything. We're just accepting everything, taking everything. Can't do that. All right. Anybody have anything? Oh, no. Let me get back. Let me get back to what I was saying. Okay. So $1,000. Declaration, belief, state of mind. I make $1,000 a week. All right. So if you make $1,000 a week, if you said that, if you make $1,000 a week, then why don't you make $1,000 a week?
We're not believing it.
Okay.
You haven't realized it yet.
Okay. How do you know? Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I was gonna say you haven't questioned your subconscious on why. Why do I make $1,000 a week? Like you taught us last week.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Why do I make? And then you'll look for it.
Yes. So if you, let's just say you were thinking properly and you hadn't seen it yet, then what?
You just keep assuming you do.
Right. Another word for that is persistence.
Right.
Now, so if you make $1,000 a week, you just got to declare you made $1,000 a week. How many people can do that? How many people, $1,000 could be anything. Your health, your money, your relationship. How many people can declare what they want and declare and believe what they declared in the state of mind, the assumption that it's already so, and persist until they see that $1,000 in their hand? How many of us can do that? That $1,000 could be anything.
Everybody can do it.
Okay. Does everybody do it?
No.
What do we do instead? We do one thing that makes this impossible.
We go back and forth.
Okay. Why do we go back and forth? What do we go back and forth over?
We don't question our thoughts. We just let it. We just, like you say, eat the apple.
Okay. Yes.
How it is.
Yes. Yes.
We go back and forth over the negative instead of the positive.
What would be the negative?
Our disbelief.
Like the disbelief,
Okay.
like Sparkle Belly
Then-
says in the comment, operate in defeat.
Okay.
Like-
So then what would cause disbelief or operating in defeat? What thoughts cause that? Why do we do that? What thought causes that? What do we do
Doubt
that
and
causes
lack.
that? Say it
Doubt.
again.
Doubt and
Doubt.
lack.
Okay. What causes doubt?
Fear.
Fear. What causes fear? If I say I make $1,000 a week and it's a declaration, what causes doubt and fear then if it's a declaration? Meaning,
not knowing who we are.
okay. And so because we don't know who we are, then the declaration turns into something else. What does the declaration turn into?
Wishful thinking.
Okay. Wishful thinking.
A
Wishful.
hope.
Say it again.
Hope.
Okay. Hope. What are wishful thinking? What are wishful thinking and hope? What are those?
Half truths.
Questions, half truths. Okay. There's another word I'm looking for.
Lies.
Lies.
State of mind.
State of mind. When you don't know who you are, see, God makes declarations.
So earlier in the chat, Sparkle Bailey put doubt.
Okay. God makes declarations. And what does it say in the book? You shall declare and decree a thing, and it shall come to pass.
Burnett put assumptions.
Assumptions. Okay. So God, I am, which is all of us, singular, right? I am makes declarations. It's absolute. So when a king comes on the land and says, this land is mine, it don't matter who was on there before. Don't matter if your family's been on there for generations. You got to go today, right now. Now you can go peacefully or you can get thrown off or killed off. But look at any of them old English movies, Scottish movies, all them old Braveheart movies. When the king said something, it was pretty much a wrap. Because the king declared, the king didn't have anything that we talked about. Was there any wishful thinking? Was there any hoping? Was there any doubting or fear? No, because the king says, and that's it. Just like you do with your kids, because I said so. When you're the highest authority in the environment, everything you basically say is a declaration. Because there is no greater power or authority than you. So God makes declarations. Humans turn these declarations. So all of our names, right? Alberta and George and Kari and Karen, all of us, I am makes declarations. The higher mind, our higher mind declares. That's what an idea is. It's a declaration. This is absolutely available. Do you want it? All of us by name, humanity, we turn when we go from forgetting who we are to believing we're what we're in, declarations turn into conditions. Conditions turn into what?
Our reality.
Okay,
Alignment.
yeah, but conditions, so declarations degenerate, right, into conditions. Conditions degenerate into what?
Sparkle Belly said standards.
Okay,
I'm gonna say doubt.
okay,
Environment.
Circumstances.
okay. Limitations.
Mm.
So when people say they have limiting beliefs, yeah, because your belief is limited by the condition you attach to it. So this I make $1,000 a week. When I said you make $1,000 a week, what did I say beside that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Did you guys notice that? I said you make $1,000 a week. I didn't say anything beside that. I didn't say how. I didn't say who was going to give it to you. I didn't say how you're going to make it. I didn't say working extra hours. I said you have, or I have, we say we have $1,000 a week. I put no, that was a declaration. That was I am talking because I said so. I make $1,000 a week. Humanity starts to say, the human mind starts to say, well, how? Well, when? Well, based on what? You gonna get another job? Well, what are you gonna do? Well, you know you can't do that. You know they're not giving any extra shifts at work, right? Well, you know the economy is bad, right? You know, so then we start placing that $1,000 now starts to become conditional, based on something. Then when you base it on something, then that becomes a limitation because you can't have what you want until or unless that condition is met. But then why do you get stress and worry and fear and anxiety? Well, then why does that happen?
Lack of belief.
Belief in what?
What you say you want or what you say you desire, you really don't believe it.
Well, on this side of the scale, you don't believe it because now you have to believe in the limitation that under this condition, so I have to believe in the condition before I can even get to the $1,000. I've essentially put roadblocks and hurdles in between me and my $1,000 because I've conditioned it. I have to do this first. I have to get this first. I have to have that first. Well, it can't happen unless I literally turned into a track star doing hurdles. I've literally turned into some kind of Spartan race or some kind of American Ninja Warrior where I'm jumping over walls and over moats and over all kind of things. Because I've conditioned my $1,000 on if then. It becomes calculus. It becomes if then statements. When I first presented it to you all, I said $1,000 and nothing else. That's it, just $1,000. See how I got silent? See, I didn't say anything with it. I didn't attach anything to it. I didn't say I had to get this or I have to be this. I did not put any conditions. When you start putting conditions, you have to meet them. And when you can't meet them, that's when you get stressed. That's when you get fear. That's when you get worried. But the conditions you're setting up, you can't even control. Well, I'm gonna get $1,000 a week. You know what? I'm gonna go to work and get some extra shifts. So $1,000 turned into work and extra shifts. So you go to work with your bright idea, and then you go talk to your boss and say, hey man, I want to get some extra shifts, or hey ma'am, can I have some extra shifts? And he or she says, no, we love you, but we don't have it. So when they say we don't have it, then what do you say to yourself?
That's it, you give up.
You say you can't get.
Me personally, I got to find another way.
Well, when they say we don't have it, then now you say, well, I don't have it.
Right.
They said no. So then who killed your $1,000?
They did.
Well, yes,
Well,
I did through them.
right.
I gave them the power to kill my $1,000. When you said you wanted $1,000, what did that have to do with your boss?
Nothing.
So then why did you include him? I'm not saying you can't go to work and ask for extra shifts. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't believe in the extra shift as your salvation. You can be led to that by your higher mind, by the assumption that that $1,000 is so every week. And it says, okay, this is the way to get your $1,000. This is the way to get your $1,000. You and your bright ideas, all they do is cause stress, worry, fear, and anxiety. The same mind that your bright ideas are coming out of is the same mind creating stress, worry, fear, and anxiety when the conditions that it sets up for your bright idea, the $1,000 to be met, essentially sabotages it. Sabotage it. This is self-sabotage all the time. $1,000 is yours. That's what it is. A healthy knee is yours. A healthy body is yours. A great photography business is yours. Whatever your desire is yours. Don't condition it. You're sabotaging yourself. All you're doing is setting up things that you're going to have to overcome and grit and grind and fight through and hustle, but don't hustle backward. Make sure you hustle forward. Like hustling forward is like better than hustling backward when you can get to an accident driving forward just like you can going backward. But we won't talk about that because it sounds good and everybody likes to say things that sound good even though it's asinine and stupid. But I'm not going to get in that because I'm not going to throw the marker today because I'm fasting on the marker though. I'm not going to do it today. You guys are not going to make me upset. I'm not going to get upset. You're not going to make me upset. Okay. But no, you don't, you're setting up conditions that your good has to be met through or met by. And then when those conditions aren't, invariably and inevitably, most often are not able to be satisfied, now you have stress, worry, fear, and anxiety, all those things that come up as a result of you wanting something you can't get. And the reason you can't get is because you can't climb this mountain, and this mountain you put there. And that great human mind of yours you put there. So now in that great human mind, you've created a problem, and you're going to use that great human mind to solve the problem you just created. How do you think that's going to work? You ever seen people when you say, "Hey man, you're in a hole, just stop digging"? Like, you know what? Just stop. You're just going to make it worse. You know, people just don't know better and they just keep making it worse. Yeah, it's the same thing. Anything you want to say? Okay. Right? So what I'm saying to you is the reason a declaration most of the time doesn't actually happen is because it degenerates into conditions and limitations. Because we forget who we are and we say, I'm, you know what? I'm gonna have $1,000 every week extra. I'm gonna have $1,000 every week extra. I have $1,000 every week. About 5 minutes into it, your mind be talking to you. Boy, it'll be knocking, ringing the doorbell, peeking through the window. It's doing everything, going around the back of the house, trying to figure out how I can get in, how I can get into your $1,000. How you gonna do that? When you gonna do that? Where you gonna do that? You know there's no jobs around here. You know there's no extra shifts. How you gonna do that? When? Like how? You didn't even, what? You don't have nothing. I mean, everything. And so then we start thinking, well, then we get a bright idea. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna ask so-and-so. They just won the lottery. Then they don't answer the phone. Or then they tell you they ain't got it. Now you're mad and still in the same situation.
Burnett put in the chat. So simply, I'm a fanatic teacher and podcaster. Don't add a why. Don't add a because.
Don't add a why, and especially don't add a how. Jesus Christ, don't add a how. Don't add a how, don't add a why, don't add a because. Do not make it a declaration, not a conditional statement. They're not the same thing. A declaration is an absolute outcome. This is what is going to happen. When the king says, "Get off my land," there are no conditions. There are no conditions. There's no limitations. It doesn't matter. This is just what it is. And now, like we talked about it, you're that employee now. It just may be your first day, but you're there now. And all you have to do is keep showing up. You're an employee, just keep showing up. You declare, this is what I am, or this is what I have, or this is what is happening. You make it a declaration because of who you really are, as Karen pretty much consistently says. You make it a declaration. If you don't remember who you are, you forget, you automatically make it a condition. And that condition always turns into a limitation. They go together. It's the second pack of muffins. The limitation is the second pack of the first pack condition. As soon as you start conditioning your good, oh, I have a successful business if I get this many clients, when I get this many clients. You can say how many clients you want, but don't condition it. I have a successful business. I have 100 clients. I have a successful business. I have 200 clients. I have a successful business. My clients are like this or they're like that. But they are the reflection of my declaration. They are not the condition under which it exists or is met. Because when that client leaves, then what? You right back to fear and anxiety. When that job is over and you did a great job, but there's no more work to do for that person, now you're right back to where you started. When you realize that you can always declare and decree from where you are and what you are anytime, then you don't care what anybody else says, thinks, does, because you're not asking them for nothing. You don't need them. You don't need them. Right? All you need is you, meaning your higher mind, your agreement with your higher mind. I now have $1,000. I have $1,000, whether that's today or a week or every week or whatever else it is. That is a declaration. It means I'm not changing my mind. Nobody can talk me out of it. It is my name. I am Monique, I have $1,000. I am the other Veronica, I have $1,000. Veronica, $1,000. Monique, $1,000. George, $1,000. It is my last name. It is every day, all day, rain, wind, sleet, snow, economy up, economy down, interest up, interest down, job, no job, doesn't matter. My name is the same, my outcome is the same. Period.
He said 3,000 a week.
You do that's it's whatever turns you on, baby. Do it. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Do it. Do it hard. Do it.
She's in New York, so it's like California. We need more.
Yeah, for sure. Right? For sure. $1,000, boy, you can't even, man, you can't even sleep on somebody's couch for that. Right? So that's the point, is that when you remember and know who you are, right, then it's a declaration. If you stay in your frame, if you stay in that state of mind, you shall declare and decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. That's what the people who thinking like this said. You shall declare and decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. It will happen. It will physically come into your world. It already exists. That's the only reason you can name it. The school or the company and things that you worked at had to exist before you got there. Otherwise, how do you work there?
Alberta said, my name is Alberta, and I am a very successful photographer.
Good.
Yes.
And whatever that means to you will show up in your physical world if you stay there.
Right.
If you show up every day to that job, meaning that state of mind, if you show up and you stay in it, you stay loyal and faithful to that state of mind, whatever successful photographer means to you, whatever that means to you, not to me, not to George, not to the other Veronica, not to Alberta, whatever that means to you, that is what is going to be reflected in your physical world. Just show up to work. Just show up. That's it. Just show up and you'll see it. You don't condition it. Don't figure it out. Just show up. And your higher mind will lead you right to it. It already exists. We just become aware of it. It's just a commercial. Like we talked about last week. It just lets you know something exists. You have to decide if you want to buy that or not. If you want to be that or not. Buying it humanly or physically is the same thing as being it psychologically or spiritually, God-wise, higher consciousness-wise. You be it. I am this thing. I am the person who is this thing or is doing this thing or having this thing. That's it. So do not put terms and conditions on your thing. All right. Okay. Last thing I'm gonna say is, and then we'll get to any questions or anything before we go real quick is, I was watching Mission Impossible a couple weeks ago and love the show, love the movie, just because I like the action and all the other stuff. But anyway, in the latest one, there's a new person joining the group. And essentially they said to the girl, hey, you can either die as you are, or you can live as a new person. You cannot stay the same and stay alive. And she was like, well, she was trying to figure out how she could do both. And they said, you're not listening. We all had to make this choice. The reason all of us are alive is because we had to die to what we were in order to remain alive. We had to die. We had to let go of our old life. We had to let go of our wife because it was too dangerous what we did. And if we came home, they would kill me and her. So in order for her to stay alive, that was Tom Cruise's plight. He couldn't go home anymore because of what he did. And so he had to basically let his wife go in order for her to be able to live. He had to let his life go. He can never go home. But that's the only reason he's physically still alive. Or you can keep your ID and die in a couple of days. Or you can keep the old you and die, or you can let the old you die and you live. You can let your old life die, but you have to figure out which one it is you're going to do. You can't have both. There's a choice you're given. You can choose to live as the new you and die to the old you, or you can choose to remain the old you and just die. Die and, live every day in misery, worry, stress, fear, anxiety, anger, and all the other emotions that are killing you and that feel like death, that feel like hell. Or you can become the new man, the new mind. You can live with new thoughts and become a new person. You can transform your life by renewing your mind. It is a choice. But everyone is presented with that choice. Heaven or hell, death or life. We're all presented with the choice. You can be the old you that is suffering and fight to keep it, or you can be the new you that lives and lets go of the old man, the old mind, the old habits, the old beliefs, the old thoughts, the old. But you can't go back and forth. You have to choose. All of us have a choice. Every day we are choosing to die to the old, or let the old, or keep the old dead, and to live to the new, or keep the new alive. Every day you're choosing by what you think and feel and believe, by either declarations or conditions. So I would say choose life. I would say choose the new you and let the old you die. I would say if the old you was that wonderful, you wouldn't be interested in the new you. I would say the old you is taking you as long and as far as it can. I would say choose the new you. I would say take the relay baton and start running. The person who's been running is tired. They need a break. I would say take the new you and start running. Start running faster. Pick up the pace. Start running higher. Start thinking higher. Start thinking better. Take the new you. All right. Anything, I'll open it up. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to say before I let you go on this wonderful Saturday?
I'm just excited to listen to the replay of this call, Coach Lucky, because this is something I want to hear in the car. I want to hear this on my phone and my earpods. Like, it's the reminders. And I say that all the time to you. It's the reminders. You remind me that I do need to give myself more credit, that I thought I would have to leave my hometown in order to grow. But just listening to you, I've never left my hometown except to go to college. Traveling, obviously, but to go to college, I've never lived anywhere else besides my hometown. And I genuinely thought I would have to leave and move to another state in order to grow and to let go of the old and all of that. And I look up and it just hit me. This is a beautiful moment for me to just celebrate my win. That I've evolved so much. I have grown so much right here in my home city. I didn't have to leave to grow. I just appreciate you so much for the reminder. This is beautiful.
Yes, that's wonderful. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
That's awesome.
Oh, happy birthday, Sparkle Bailey. When's your birthday?
Tomorrow, March 3rd, tomorrow.
Ah, happy birthday. Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so much. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else before I let you all go? Wonderful.
This has been this has been amazing. I'm so very grateful that I had the opportunity to catch this morning. It's been so beneficial, so enlightening. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And definitely going to look at the replay quite a few more times.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. It's an honor and pleasure to have you. We're grateful to have you. Thank you for coming. Hope you keep coming, and we're honored and grateful that you're here.
College graduate courses without the tuition. Marvelous. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank
They
you.
don't even care about my mind in college. I appreciate you.
I don't care about any of our minds, college or below, or shoot, even anywhere. The world doesn't really. That's why it's our job to guide it, control it, protect it, because it is our life. It is our life. So yes, thank you. Well, wonderful. Well, hey, have a wonderful day today. Wonderful upcoming week. Apply whatever you could understand to the best of your ability. Go to work as far as, in your mind. Go to that place that you are, whatever it is you want to be already, and keep reporting for duty. Show up every day. Rain, wind, sleet, snow, until you get your tenure, until you get that your desire physically manifested in your world, as they say, till you physically are touching it, whatever it is. And every day you show up. Every day. Your name is your name, your thing, your game is your game, whatever it is. They're the same. Don't lower them, don't lessen them, don't condition them, nothing. You keep it, right? And you will see it. You will see proof of it. You will have an ID that shows you, yes, this is who you are to the world. You will be able to show proof, right? So good for you all. Thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure for us to have you. Thank you, Veronica, for the help as always. And have a wonderful weekend, wonderful day, and we'll catch you all next week.
All right. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate everything.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See you next
Thank
week.
you all. Have a good one.